Hello, our friends.
Hi there, hi there, hi there.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Oh, hello.
We're a little
Yes,
punchy here.
yes.
So, this is a fun topic. I mean, there's so much good stuff when you get deep into it that you could dig out of the Bible and you could say, what? What? What?
Well, I think anything that can give people ammunition that says, okay, maybe things aren't the way I've been told they were.
Look at this picture. I mean, here we have, up and towards the top left, a depiction of a being that we could take as God, the man on the white cloud, and then you see Satan in the bottom right, with those black bat wings coming off and looking pleadingly up to God, and we have cherubim running around. It's fun. It's classic. So, what is the oldest book in the Bible? You know what? It's not Genesis. Nope. It's actually the book of Job.
Very interesting.
Yeah, the book of Job is fascinating, and there's some stuff in there that just, you gotta look a little closer. So one day, the sons of God. One day the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. I mean, let that just soak in for a moment.
So, the sons of God. So, these are the sons of the creator of all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, see, this is where people will just say, well, it's got to be angels, right? I mean, it's just the obvious thing to say. Well, I guess it means the angels, right?
It must be, but people don't really look that close or sit and ponder it. A lot of people have such good intentions. They just want to be part of something bigger than themselves. They want to be part of a grand plan. So they just sometimes automatically just follow stuff.
Exactly. Or just don't really think things through, or say, well, God knows more than I do. God knows better than me. Who am I to question it? But who really wrote this? Was it God in his own hand? Does God have a hand? I mean, think about this. These works, many of them are pseudepigraphal, meaning that they're attributed to people long after those people are no longer around, if they were actually literal people, too. A lot of this is just allegory. But there's a lot of curious things in there. So, sons of God. And a lot of translations have been mistranslated on purpose. And so many things, like when we look at Deuteronomy 32:8. Deuteronomy 32:8 is translated in your modern Bibles as the sons of Israel. But it's not, really. When we look to the oldest fragments of the Dead Sea Scrolls that we have, it says, when the Most High gave to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the children of men. And that might have been right at the Tower of Babel. He set the bounds of the peoples according to the number of the children of God, or children of the gods. Interesting, and then there's other stuff in there that's really interesting too, saying they sacrificed to demons, not God, to gods they didn't know, to new gods that came up recently, which your fathers didn't dread. And there's even verses which refer to, don't worship any alien gods, just out there in that language as well. So when we see a little bit more clearer, perhaps, and we see with the comparative mythologies all over the world, the sons of God, the sons of the gods, these beings that were not, well, Homo sapiens, but had advanced technology and advanced abilities. When we think about Mount Olympus and the gods gathering and deciding amongst themselves what they're going to do with humans, then this makes a lot more sense, because this is going along with the same line of thinking.
Right. So we can move things around and shuffle things around to the point where they do make sense. That was my biggest problem reading the Bible, is I thought that I was doing the right thing, but I could never really make sense of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, for sure, that seems to be contradictory. And, of course, there are countless theologians that have tried to make it all fit and come up with different explanations and different answers. So that Satan that was roaming around, did he look like this, do you think?
Well, he very well could have. I would say, yeah.
So we go a little farther. One day the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. "Where have you come from?" said the Lord to Satan. And before we go to that next part, we tend to think of Satan as being, the opposite of God, like super powerful, these two polarities battling it out, light and dark and everything. But here Satan's reporting to him. Mm-hmm. He's actually coming along with the other beings that are not Homo sapiens, and he's reporting, and he answers them. And so, "Where have you come from?" said the Lord to Satan. "From roaming through the earth." Through the earth? It didn't say on the earth. Through the earth. "From roaming through the earth," he replied, "and walking back and forth in it." Did he mean on it? He said in it.
Oh, he did say in it. I heard you and I read that.
Yeah, so before and we're not going to go so much into Job, because Job is about a good guy, a guy that stays faithful, a guy that stays true, and he basically gets tortured nonstop, horribly, and it's all about testing him. And so, we're not going to go there. What we want to look at is this language, from roaming through the earth and walking back and forth in it.
That's really important to stop and slow down and look at some of these things, because we all want to believe in something good. We want to believe in something honest, but if you look at the world and how it is today, how things are today, and most people do follow the Bible, but the Bible just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and we've covered that. The whole idea of, and it's Easter today. Mm-hmm. God so loved the world so that he sacrificed his only begotten son for it. Just that whole concept, if you really think about it, doesn't make any sense. People don't think to question why. Well, why? Well, it's God's rule. Who am I to question God? But is it God? Or is it somebody else that's given you this? Do you really think it was written because, by God's own hand? Well, who am I to question it? Well, look at your history. See who put this together. And recognize, too, that, as we said before, there's over 3,000 edits in the oldest copy of the Gospel of John. 3,000 edits. Edits. It's not infallible. And yet, I did have friends growing up that would just automatically say it's infallible. There's not a tiny error in the entire thing. It's completely verbatim the word of the creator of the universe. And, really, they don't have a clue, is the bottom line. Because, yes, there's edits. You could take a look at the copies and see the edits. And you also recognize that in Hebrew, they wouldn't put the vowels in when they were translating. And there again, the oldest full copy that we have of the Torah is only going to date back to about 1000 AD. But there are some real interesting nuggets in there, and there are things that are referring to, Jacob's ladder. He wrestled with the Lord where? At Peniel. The ladder, ascension. There's things there. The serpent, Kundalini, energy. You can see there are things there that are interesting, but this is fascinating. So roaming through the earth and walking back and forth in the earth. Well, that gets me thinking about a whole bunch of other things. We've talked about the Lacerda interview before, revealing the reptilians of inner earth, because cultures all around the globe say there are reptilians that live inside the earth. And so this was a interview with a supposed inner earth reptilian being who goes ahead and says, and it was fun and fascinating to listen to, whether or not it's authentic or not, everybody has to discern for themselves. but it talks about how they were here first, not humans, and not even primate dominant. That this planet was reptilian dominant before it became apparently primate dominant or human dominant.
That's right. So, I mean, just these things are really important to pull out and take a look at and recognize.
And we even have ancient Egyptian papyruses talking about inner earth reptilians. We had the Emerald Tablets of Thoth talking all about all sorts of fun and interesting mysteries. And here we see the Council of 13, Reptilians and the Council of 13. And this was written by Stuart Swerdlow. And, how it gets into the word that is over here. You can see it begins with an I, ends with an I, and we don't say that word. But there are different beings that are really running the show here, and they're not humanoid. That's the bottom line. It's never been humans, Homo sapiens, running this show.
Oh, most definitely. Because, if it were human, then I don't think the earth would be so polluted like it is.
No, most definitely. And we talked about before, Credo Mutwa, talking about, and this is over in Africa, all about abductions, the reptilian phenomenon, inner earth reptilians as well. This is something that is universal. The Cherokee, the Hopi, we go on and on all across the globe. They recognize that there is an inner earth society. There's actually more than one. And of course we have the Nagas that we have read about over from India. Serpent people who live in secret underground cities.
Which is something that we've also talked about here.
Most definitely. So when Job is talking to Satan and says, "Where have you come from?" and Satan says, "From roaming through the earth and walking back and forth in it." Ah, okay. I gotcha.
Yes, there it is.
Yep. As always, guys, thanks for being part of the family. Make sure you're subscribed. Give a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Share it and illuminate others' minds as well. Thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. As always, God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.